Welcome to my class on summary writing. In this class, I'm going to be taking you through what summary is and the steps involved in writing a good summary. So to start with, what is summary? Summary has been defined as a shortened form of a piece of writing. A summary extracts the main points in a text, a paragraph or passage. For us in writing a summary, the focus is to look out for the main points in a given text. So, I'll be taking you through what steps you need to take in presenting a good summary answer. The first is that you need to ensure that you have good understanding of the passage that you're summarizing. Because without comprehension of this, without understanding the passage, you cannot do a good summary. So to ensure that you understand the passage, you have to first read the questions to the passage before going through the passage. Now, after reading the question, you go through the passage, and then when reading the passage, you need to extract only the important points from the passage. Use your own words thereafter, present your answers, and avoid the use of adverbials. Also, you need to avoid the use of illustrations and examples in summary writing. So, because summary is concerned with bringing the salient points from the text, you need to understand the text and then look out for those points in the passage. Then use your own words to present your answer. Mind you, the answer to a summary exercise is always in a passage. The idea is the writer's idea. You only need to use your own words to present the writer's idea. Using your own words involves you having to rephrase the answer from the passage. So to make your summary answers as short as possible, you need to avoid the use of adverbial. Like I said, also avoid the use of examples and now you also need to avoid details. Summary doesn't encourage details, but don't encourage verbosity, that is having to write much. And then when you're presenting your answers, you don't begin with a pronoun. You begin with a noun. The first sentence should begin with a noun. For example, farming is important because through it we get the food we eat. You don't begin with it is important. You don't, that is a pronoun. So you have to begin with a noun. So begin your answer with a noun. Next, you need to avoid the use of extraneous materials. Extraneous materials are information that are not originally in the passage, from the previous knowledge or from the previous. So, you need to also avoid white coloration, like the use of figurative expressions in summary writing. You may need to use figurative expressions in writing essays and letters when it comes to summary, because you are actually trying to reduce content, but not reducing the point, just the content you're reducing. So we don't encourage the use of figurative expressions or make your answers too elaborate. And then your answer should be precise, brief, and as clear as possible. The next, your summary should be written in simple, short, and correct sentences. Your summary answer should be as simple as possible, should be as short as possible. Mind you that your answer should be in short sentences. Doesn't mean that you should write in phrases or clauses. So in presenting your summary answers, we discourage the use of phrases and clauses. As a matter of fact, the use of phrase or clause to present your answer, you get half of the total mark for that particular sentence. For example, if the sentence will take 5 marks or 10 marks, you use a phrase or a clause to present your answer instead of a sentence, you get half of it. Half of 5 is 2.5, and half of 6 is 3. So you should ensure that you use correct sentences, simple, short, and correct sentences to present your answer. And then you need to check your final answer for grammatical, spelling, and punctuation errors. And then you need to avoid the use of mindless lifting. Mindless lifting is extracting a sentence from a given passage, word for word, without changing anything. So when we discover that a particular sentence is lifted, it's extracted from the passage without you having to rephrase or reword, you will be penalized. It's called 0 marks. So that's actually what mindless lifting is. Then you have to number your sentences. Don't forget to number your sentences. For example, the question is given that in 4 sentences, give the reasons why a particular thing was done in a passage. So your sentences should be numbered. Number 1 is the reason. And mind you, the reason is also from the passage, not your own idea. Even though you are encouraged to present your answers in your own words, but not your own idea. So, the first sentence, for example, summarize the reasons why the writer considers family very important. Each reason should be a sentence. So that's what numbering your answers, numbering your sentence is all about. Then you can compare your final answer with the original text. Basically 2 reasons why you compare your final answer to the original text. Number 1 is to ensure that you do not copy a sentence exactly the way it is in the passage. Called, like I mentioned, as mindless lifting. That will end with 0 mark. Secondly, you must ensure that you do not deviate. First, you must ensure that you're not copying exactly the way a sentence is in the passage. Second, to ensure that you do not deviate from the original idea. You do not bring in extraneous ideas. And lastly, your summary answer must not be more than 15% of the original text. But a clear way to say this is that, of course, like I mentioned, your answer should be in sentences which should be numbered. And then each sentence should not be more than 2 lines. So that's about an equivalent of 15% of the original text. So that is my package on summary writing. But before I call it a wrap, let me just give you a sample summary exercise. Of course, a summary exercise is normally from a passage, but I'm having a paragraph from a particular passage. And this paragraph requires just a sentence as a summary answer. And what's the question? The question is for you to give the reason why the writer of this particular passage from which this paragraph is taken considers farming to be very important. So this paragraph says, why is farming so important? As we all know, it is through farming that we obtain various types of food that we eat. Without farming, without food, can anyone survive? I wonder how many people can go without food for more than 3 days. So the answer to this, the answer you should present, or sample answer you can present, as a response to the question asked here, is as simple as this. Farming is important because we get food from it. So you don't need to write something like, as we all know, it is through farming that we obtain various types of food that we eat, that we live to. You don't need to write something like, without food can anyone survive, that we live to. You don't need to write something like, I wonder how many people can go without food for more than 3 days, that we live to. Now, my answer is not in the passage. My sentence is not in the passage. But the idea is in the passage. Like I said, your answer, use your own words to present your answer. But the answer is linked to my idea in the passage. And when you present this kind of answer, you get the full mark. Farming, simply put, farming is important because we get food from it. Simple as that. No superfluity, no long expressions, no examples, illustrations, no details. So that is the package of my lesson on summary writing. I believe when you start practicing to write good summary from the points and steps I've given you, you will have a mastery of writing good summary. See you in the next class.